In my last video, I had left Wyoming, passed through Idaho, and was traveling through Oregon into California. To be more precise, I was headed for the Jedediah Smith Redwoods State Park. When I finally reached the state park, it was getting on into the evening, and I needed to find a place to camp. I ended up backtracking a little and came across the Ruby Van Deventer County Park, which seemed like a nice place to stop. Unfortunately, I needed cash to stay at this campground, and I wasn't carrying any. So I wound up back on the highway, bound for Crescent City to find an ATM. And that's when I discovered the Crescent City Redwoods KOA. Now, I'd had a pretty good experience at the KOA campground in Devil's Tower, so I was willing to pay extra if it meant I could also get a hot shower. However, they were booked full. Now things were looking dire as I continued on to Crescent City and got some cash. By this time, I was really tired of driving around in circles and saw a sign for Florence Keller County Park. So that's where I stayed. And I'm glad I did. Conveniently located right off Highway 101, it ended up being a great place to camp, and a great place to jump on my board and do some skating. I have a passion for surf skating. Surf skating, unlike regular skateboarding, uses special trucks to give your board a more surfy feel. You also don't have to kick to keep the board rolling. With a little skill, you can just perform a series of pump cars and get yourself rolling pretty fast. You can do extremely tight turns and other tricks that are a lot of fun, but there really isn't any kick flipping or anything like that. It's really just a fun way to get around and give you the feel of surfing on dry land. This also wasn't the first time I'd had an opportunity to do some skating, as there was a campground I stayed at in Iowa which was terrific to skate, and you could even reach a nearby lake just by skating. And since it had been a few days since the last time I gave my legs something to do other than push some pedals or hike through the woods, I relished this chance to skate beneath these beautiful, majestic trees. It was a magical experience I'll never forget. The next day I woke up bright and early because I wanted to do some exploring. I couldn't wait to see the redwood trees. Now, I'm used to getting up around 7 a.m., and I'm pretty much fully awake by 8 a.m. Of course, that's East Coast time, which means that in California, I was usually up and moving around by 5 a.m. Fortunately for me, that meant that I was able to get ahead of the crowds and already be exploring when most folks are just getting out of bed. Basically, for a few hours at least, I pretty much had the whole park to myself. After several hours of exploring trails and taking in the scenery, I suddenly found this spot. It seemed like a great place to sit down and think about a few things, and maybe even go for a swim, which I did. So I'm here, California, the Redwood Forest, sun's in my eyes. I'm just sitting here on the beach and thinking about how I'm totally just ready to embrace this lifestyle. I don't know how. I'm gonna run out of money eventually, and I'm gonna have to go back home and go back to my job. It's just taken me a while to adapt to getting out here, and I was just thinking, like, what if I lived in a place that made me happy instead of constantly chasing after finding something that makes me happy? And is this it? It's hard to say really, because eventually this all has to end, so I don't know what I'm gonna do then. I still have like 20 something days left to I could just sit on this beach for the next couple of weeks. Actually, I don't know if I could because of the, can I camp here? Can't I camp here? Where can you camp? What can you, it's like, that's the life, I guess. That's just what van lifers deal with. So anyway, let's just enjoy this view.
dogs. You water dogs, go to it. Hey. Stop.
Like, this is just bark that came off of this tree. Like, you can see the bark that comes off of this tree naturally is just like planks of wood. Maybe I'm not really understanding van life. It seems to be a common theme running through these videos. I'm not in the place I have to be because I don't have to be there for a while. But am I in the place I want to be? Maybe. Could this be what I've been searching for? Every time I find myself feeling peaceful and at ease, trying to rest for a moment, I get the feeling like I should be moving on. I feel like there's too many places that I've got to see, and yet I've already seen so much. Will it ever be enough? If the van were truly my home, I could stay anywhere indefinitely. But where would I stay? And how long would indefinitely be? It seems that something is still missing. If home is really where I want to be, and I could be anywhere, then I guess this must be the place. At least, it is for now.